Hey, 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 it's your girl Joe here. We are currently in the relaunch of Uncomfortable. Listen, I am so excited for us to finally be back on the scene to where we are coming back and taking our position. Listen here and talking about all the uncomfortable stuff. If you're listening for the very first time, tuning in for the first time, hi and welcome. I am so excited to have you here with me. Listen, we have created this podcast for just that. For us to talk about all of the uncomfortable stuff. Here is where we come, we get down with the nitty gritty of stuff. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff, it ain't gonna be so easy for you to digest it, but listen here. In order for us to be able to heal, we gotta talk about some stuff, right? In order for us to be delivered from some stuff, we got to talk about it. And sometimes that means getting in uncomfortable places and positions in order for us to do so. So listen here. Tonight, we are coming straight out the gates with it. We have Dr. Tiffany, who is going to be helping us on tonight with the topic of accepting hard truths. Listen, I know it's probably not something all of us want to talk about, but listen here, it's going to help us. I promise. It's really, really, really going to help us at the end. So look, without further ado, go ahead, make sure, like, comment, share. We are live Facebook and also YouTube. But if you happen to miss it, if you're catching the rerun of it, you know what I mean? We're also too going to have it live to where you can go in and listen on other streams like Google Podcast, Spotify, and Podbean, and so on. So listen, without further ado, go ahead, put in the comments here because I need y'all to flow with us tonight, okay? It's the relaunch. We are back in business, okay? We is no longer sitting on this thing, and we go come and we go have a good old time with some good old conversation, right? So make sure in the chat, put the clap hands, give a round of applause for the very own Dr. Tiffany Zachary. Yay! Hey, girl, hey!
I was trying to get to your page so I could share it.
Listen, sis, even if you can't get to it now, we're going to get to it later. Listen.
I was like, wait, what is that?
So welcome to Uncomfortable, the podcast. Like I've mentioned to you before, listen, we get down to the nitty gritty of stuff. We keep it raw, we keep it authentic, and we just share our truth, which that's what we're going to be covering on tonight, right? Accepting hard truths. So Dr. Tiffany, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Sure, and I'm not going to take too much of your time. Majority of people already know me, and if you don't, it's okay. My name is Dr. Tiffany Zachary. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here in Lafayette, Louisiana. I have my own private practice where I see majority of women of color who are our leaders, our administrators, our entrepreneurs, and things of that nature. And they are uncovering their hard truths. And one thing I can say about my clients are they're making moves. And so I'm very grateful that they chose little old me to help them on this journey. You know, being 37 years old, I've experienced a lot, unfortunately. And so I'm grateful that God has blessed me to overcome my hard truth so that I can help other people do the same. Also have my PhD in higher ed. So I do some consulting, some accountability coaching, speaking, writing, all that jazz. So that's me.
Ooh, so you're the right person who we need here, right? So we can talk about all this stuff, huh? So listen, we could go ahead and dive right into it. So we are talking tonight about accepting hard truths. Would you be able to tell us, for anyone who may not know what hard truths are, or even like what that may even look like, can you give a breakdown of it, Miss PhD?
Okay. So I thought about that because hard truths is something that I talk about. This is not nothing that there's theory on, interventions. This is just what works for me in my practice because I'm very direct and authentic. And a lot of my clients, coaching and therapists, therapy clients are very direct. They are very strong-willed. And so it takes another strong-willed person to be like, hey, you got some hard truths. You're not telling me something. And so I came up with hard truths because that was the thing that like hit home, where they could go home and digest it. Like, Hard truths. And it's basically being authentic with yourself, because I have not had but probably one client that could tell me who they were and not what they did. Being accountable for themselves and not still reaching back for the past traumas, and being vulnerable, being okay with that, and being okay with hearing the truth even when it hurts to change, even when it's impacting their children or godchildren or close family members and friends, the people that they lead. So that's the hard truths. The hard truths are you don't know everything, even though you're the strong one in your village. They always got somebody that knows more than you, and that's the good thing about life.
Yeah.
Hard truth is being a strong one is not a badge of honor. It's toxic.
Oh, come on with that
So,
toxic word.
and again, that's from what I've experienced with my women of color, because I've had the chance to work with women of all nationalities, a majority of them, and so that's what I've seen. Like that's the reoccurring theme, like that strong one.
Yeah.
Whatever that may look like, because that's the thing, especially in the African American community. Like, you know, Big Mama, and when Big Mama died, I'm like, because y'all wore Big Mama out. She was tired.
Listen, she had to go. She went on to glory
And I
instead of
remember
messing
when
around
my
with
great
us.
grandmother died, she looked at me and she said, Mama, I'm tired. And I said, it's okay to go. It's okay. She was tired. Like, and so hard truth, being authentic, knowing who you are and being accountable for it. And sometimes just sitting back with that pain, and some that others created and some that you created. That's the hard truth. We create our own pain and hurt. But if nobody but if you're the strong one, who is there to pull your coattail and tell you that?
Yeah. And you see, that's one of the things it is that I've noticed. Like, even for me, like me, just be honest with myself. You know, I have been that strong friend all the time. So many a times, whenever the strong friend going through stuff is like, who do you call? Who do you depend on? Who do you rely on? And then you find yourself sitting in the position of feeling as if nobody is there to comfort you or to support you. Because then you put yourself in a position of, well, if I'm always helping them, like how they go help me? But now that we're talking and digging into the hard truth, that's something too you have to accept, that you don't always have to be, or you don't need to be that strong friend. But why do you think most people feel that way? Mainly us too, us women of color. Why do you think we need to be like that pillar? We need to be like the hierarchy whenever it comes to like friendships.
Because a lot of times we go with the thing of we want to change generational curses and all of these things. And look, nothing wrong with it. That's one of my mantras too. But you got to be realistic, because like right now, my hard truth is I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I got a lot going on. And people look at me and they don't always see that unless you're in my direct circle, like people that I talk to a lot. But the truth about it is I'm not the strong one anymore. And I don't want to be. The only one I'm dedicated to being a strong one for is London, because she's a child. Now when London get older, go ahead, London. Mama gonna be here to support you, but I'm not gonna be here to support you. You see, there's a difference.
Right.
I'm not about to take on your stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we go wrong, because we never had no one to teach us about what strength is and what it isn't, and when it becomes toxic. Just because you got the answer don't mean you always got to give it. Sometimes you got to let people go through what they need to go through to grow. And so you don't sit up there and reap the consequences of what they got going on, because God will move. Since you're strong one and you know it all, so let's see what you got now. And then you get hit, and you like, when I'm gonna get a break? When you sit down and shut up. I get paid to be the strong one. And look, my clients will tell you, I'll be like, look, I'm tired. I'll be like, I'm tired, because I'm vulnerable and I'm confident enough in my pain as well as my strength, my weaknesses, when I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love my people that check in with me first to see if I got it to give in return. Don't just be calling me and going off by 1,000 and you ain't even checked in But I don't have nobody to blame but me before I set the tone, because I was always playing that role.
Right.
Like I was Superwoman. That is not cool. Like we got too much going on a day-to-day basis. Like I literally worry about my daughter not at school because I'm like, Lord, bless her to come home, walking out of classroom. Letting on got to sit on the phone after 5 and listen to what happened with you and him and them and
all of that. Listen. It becomes too much. But you said something that caught my attention, is that, well, it made me ask the question, like, who's your people? Like, who are you surrounding?
That's a good question. Who are your people, Joel?
Who's your people?
Who your people, Joel?
Listen, I got you know what I'm talking? Listen, it took me some time to get my people who I have now, but my people, they holding me up, they're holding me accountable. And let me tell you, that looks like something. When people like call you out on your stuff and like they hold you accountable, and it's like, nah, sis, because just not too long ago, I had a conversation with one of my really great friends, and I was explaining to her something I want to do. She was like, sis, I know that's what you feeling, but that's not what we go do. One, it ain't godly, and two, we ain't got no bail money for you to be acting crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like, to keep it like 100 with me. But had it been like back in the day, probably, I probably even wouldn't want to listen and even hear that, because why? I'm my own woman. I'm grown. How you go tell me what to do? And I feel like that is what many of the individuals and women, like how they operate with things now, is because I'm my own person.
But can I stop you right there? That's a hard truth. That's a lot of negativity coming out of that statement. I'm grown. How you gonna tell me? And I'm like, but where all this aggression coming from? I'm not aggressive. Yeah, you are, because I just told you something that I triggered you. So that's the hard truth. I triggered you. So now we got to talk about where that trigger come from. But you got to be able to get with people, not necessarily a therapist, a spiritual leader, whoever you trust that has gotten to that stage of life to guide you through that.
Yeah.
If you like to say, how do I know my hard truths? Or what if I don't have none? How has you walked this earth and don't have a hard truth? Nobody is perfect. Nobody's parents are perfect. Something that's happened in your life to transform you, to make you who you are. There are things we haven't even processed because we blocked them out. That's why we have so many trauma trainings and things of that nature for therapists to be able to unlock those things.
Yeah.
Like literally put you in like a trance state to unlock it. Like, I'm proud to say I have things that I had to come through and be truthful to myself about to get to a more mature Tiffany, a more wise Tiffany, a more loving Tiffany. And I still got work to do.
Yeah, we all do, sis. We all do.
But you don't go through that until you're true. If I'm not truthful with myself, I'm going to be truthful to you.
Right.
I don't mind calling bull on myself. I do not. I do it with a smile on my face.
Listen, I ain't all the way there. Listen, I'm saying.
Look, I ain't got it today.
All the way, okay? Just give me a little bit more.
I'll say I got it, but I ain't giving it to you.
Yeah, listen. And you see, like, with accepting, like, your hard truths, like how you said that one word, those triggers. Like, just to think about it, you know, like we find ourselves in so many relationships, regardless if it's marriages, friendships, sisterhood, you know, family, whatever the case may be. If you don't unfold and realize what those inner triggers are, it makes it really hard for you to do relationship and for you to do life with people, because you're accepting something, you're expecting something from them, but yet you haven't even accepted the stuff on the inside of you yet.
But the hard part about it is you don't even know that. You haven't even identified that. You know how many women come to therapy and they know they gotta be here, but they don't know why. And then I get asked the hard questions. So but I'm used of it, huh?
Give us like a breakdown of like what that looks like for like anyone it is who's listening and may have never heard hard truths before. Like how are they able to take this moment, take what is being said, for them to go home, go in the mirror, whatever the case, because keep it in mind, this is uncomfortable. We talk about all the hard stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what does that look like?
Unless you hire Dr. Zachary as your therapist.
I mean, let's just throw that out real quick, right?
Let's just put it out there because every therapist is not the same and we all have our own tactics. This is mine. You got to start with processing. My clients hate when I tell them to sit with themselves. They hate when I tell them to sit with their emotions. They hate when I tell them to journal and reflect. Like the only way for you to get down these different avenues in life. So I'm 37. If you haven't sat and processed the last 15 years of your life, how can you say what's hard, what's soft? You haven't went back to look to see what's changed, what actually affected you, what didn't.
Yeah.
And people be like, well, I don't journal. Whatever way you got to get your thoughts out. Sing a song, draw a portrait, do something. And I've had clients get really creative with that. Like, because they are creative. And of course, I'm like, okay, I see what you did here. Now explain it to me.
Yeah.
But whatever way you got to get your past or your present out in a way that you understand so you can process it. But the easiest way, if you're not ready to have a mentor, coach, therapist, whatever, I would say pay attention to your triggers. Pay attention to your triggers. You're not just triggered for nothing. Because my famous example, if a homeless person down the street call you a vulgar name, you're not gonna be feeling no type of way about it. You're not. But if I did it, or say a man did it, that would trigger you. And say like if your dad abused your mom, and she's in a healthy marriage now, and you thought you got past it, but you notice you got like this defensiveness when it comes to men being aggressive, but you never really paid attention to it. Or you have this defensiveness about when people are a famous one in therapy. I don't cry.
Ooh, child.
I don't cry. And I'm like, well, that's funny because when you come out the womb, the doctor show up, pop you on your butt to make you cry. Like it's an innate quality. You need to cry for your body to release toxins, to release energy. That doesn't mean you're weak. And let me step back. What is wrong with being weak? When you're at your weakest point, you allow God to move. So shame on you for sitting up there trying to hold all that. Look, not shame on you. Shout out to you. Because I will cry. cry. So I can't cry no more because while I'm getting that energy out, I'm getting clear. I can focus.
Yes, it's replenishing too. Whenever you're, like it's literally you releasing. Because I'm guilty of what you just said is, I don't cry, because coming up, I was the only girl in my family for like 5-6 years. So I grew up with boys. So, I had my grandfather who used to always tell me like, and I didn't think it was something in a bad way, but toughen up. You got to have thick skin. You know what I mean? Like, don't be so soft, around things. But at the same time, he still was gentle with me. Mm-hmm. But when it came to the form of like that vulnerability of knowing how, to show my weakness, that was not something that I learned how to do at a young age. So coming up, when things would happen, I don't cry,
But you just gave them a good example on how to identify a trigger and then go back and see, where that come from.
Yeah.
He didn't mean any harm, but he didn't know the world was going to be like it was today either.
Right.
Like we need more women to be feminine and vulnerable in a place of don't allow people to take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
But let the men in your life lead. And if you don't have men in your life, let the stronger women sometimes, lead. It don't always have to be you. And if you don't cry and you got children and then they grow up like that, then you got this what we come with the angry black woman. That's where it came from. Because you don't cry. You're twerking your neck, you're rolling your eyes, you're popping your gum. I do it, so I know.
Yeah.
But we don't show any type of femininity. So how do you expect people to take you as the woman you say you are? Well, I am a woman. Yeah, we see it anatomy wise, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, are you?
Yeah.
But you want me to treat you as such. That's a hard truth. Like, cut it out because I'm not. I'm going to treat you by how you display yourself. Because one, I'm not your therapist and I'm not about to sit there and decode you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get comfortable with that. People treat you how you display yourself.
Listen, we had when we had talked about it, Auntie Maya Angelou, how she said you teach people how to treat you, which I believe it to a certain degree, but she also has another quote that talks about dignity. You know what I mean? Of knowing yourself. So, you know, accepting this hard truth within ourselves is that no, we don't need to be the strongest or the loudest person in the room. We don't need to be that strong friend that always seem like if they have it all together or like if they know it all, you know, just be the best version of yourself, but understanding too, you still have weakness, you know. And when you said it earlier, it made me think about the scripture that tells us, you know, it's in our weakness that God's strength is made perfect. So it's like weakness is not a bad thing. Like it really is not. And then, you know, we also too, if we're going to go a little bit farther and deeper into it, we get in these relationships and in these marriages with men and we wonder why he don't talk to me and why he don't communicate and why he don't, you know, do this, because us as women, we become like the alpha females and we want to run the show and we want to have full control and we want to be the ones to give the directions and, you know,
but that's cool because I've had the honor of having some bomb men. I don't know why the women not finding them and they not finding the women. But look, men got themselves together, but they have hard truths. You know what I'm saying? It's a twofold thing. It's not always the woman, you know, it's the man as well. You know, communication is key. Hard truth is some people don't know how to communicate. Even people who communicate as a job. Look. I know so many people. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened?
That effective communication, and it's a two-way street. And so let's just be honest. Not everybody knows how to comprehend communication. Like even though
I wanted to say something too before I forget, because I know we're about to leave Texas and go this way. when you made the comment about you know, well, when I said when people are going to treat you how you display yourself, that's very subjective because people already got a preconceived notion of you. Maybe what they read, what they heard, things of that nature. So I wanted to backtrack on that because, like you said, that's not always 100% true. I don't, because people may say things about me, but they don't really know me because I could be very loud. But I'm that type of person where, and people don't notice about me, I was bullied when I was younger. And so I automatically find myself trying to liven up a space. If I see people uncomfortable or if I see people who don't really speak, you will see me go to those people. Like that's just my personality, but people don't know my hard truth. I didn't even know it. My mama had to remind me about it. And so that's where a lot of this directness comes from. I'm good with setting my boundaries. Like when I say no, it's no. You know what I'm saying? But until you tap into them hard truths to say, well, why can't I say no without explaining myself at length? Why am I afraid to leave this church? Why am I afraid to not go to these community events? Like a lot of people I have noticed, like I'm not on a grid no more because I had to realize a lot of hard truths. A lot of stuff affect me and a lot of things I don't want to be a part of. I'd rather just be in my world with my people doing my thing. I thought about that today. I said that makes me happy. Like being on Facebook all the time, posting and doing this, that, and the third, that's not my personality. And that's okay. That don't mean that you're not going to be blessed and God don't see you. That don't mean that you're not changing lives and you're not working. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to go be on this board and be the pastor assistant. I don't have to do all that if it's not in my heart.
Right.
But that's some hard truths I had to come into because Tiffany had some things she had to heal. And when you're in a season of healing, you got to take space, time, and patience.
Yeah. And also, and too, with how you saying, like, you know, you have to take that time. Accepting the hard truth that is going to require some time.
It takes time.
And to know to give yourself grace for that time and to know that it's okay. You don't have to be part of everything. You don't have to go everywhere. If somebody hits you up, like, let me tell you now, I am so confident in, like, if I don't feel like going, I ain't going. It's not that, you know, I really probably don't want to go or I don't want to be around the people. I just don't feel like going. And now I'm to a place of where I could accept that about myself and knowing that I'm okay with that. But I've heard a Pastor Mike Todd mention one time, he said something in regards to, you know, when people get into situations it may take them a little bit time to get out of it because they've been in that place for 30, 40 something years. So you can't expect your healing and your process of taking time to yourself to happen overnight. That's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some work. It's gonna take, a spirit, maybe take a spiritual leader, may take a counselor, a therapist, accountability people. Like, it makes you put yourself into the position on asking, like, who's your people when it's time for you to heal? Who's your people when it's time for you to really face those triggers or acknowledge, those things? Because you can't really accept it unless you could acknowledge it. You have to be able to acknowledge those hard truths that's in your life, and we all have them. Ain't nobody here perfect. The only one was.
If you can show me somebody that don't have a hard truth, I would love to meet them.
Like, come on, come shake my hand, give me a hug.
I would love to meet them and know, like, how did you get through life, and not to be funny. Like, what's the secret? What's the secret? How did you do this? How did you avoid it?
We all have it.
How did you grow without pain?
Mm-hmm.
How did you grow without lies? Lies you've told or lies people have told on you. We're not perfect.
Right.
Consciously, unconsciously, intentionally, unintentionally. Like, that's the hard truth. Like, I had to come to a hard truth about myself and my business. Everybody's not my client.
Mm.
Can I help you? Absolutely. But is it meant for you to help me?
Mm-hmm.
No, because I had to tap in with God about that. And he made me very, very, very uncomfortable. I had some hard losses last year that I will be sharing, when it's a bit less painful, but that ain't for you to do. Every referral ain't for you to pick up. Like, who are you? I'm Dr. Zachary. Girl, bye.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody cares. People run around here with all these titles and doing all these things. And for the people who may not have it, you have something in you. You know what I'm saying? You're special.
Something to offer.
You have something. Everybody is not meant to be a leader. Everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. That is hard. And it doesn't make you no more than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does not.
It makes me think about what you're saying, that is that, it's, as Christians, as believers, that we are a body, a kingdom body. And everybody has to play their own part. So a head can't take the role of a foot. But at the same time, that foot can't function without that big toe, because that big toe is needed, for balance. So even though it may be small, and even though what you may have to be, to contribute, it may be small, it's still going to be needed, because somebody is depending on the very thing it is that you have to offer to them. You know what I mean? It reminds me with Pastor Ken. He has been on, you said triggers, girl. We currently in the message of triggers at church right now. But he talks about how, God had given one gift, another 2, and then another one 5. Like, just
that's because, my favorite parable.
You know what I mean? Just because it doesn't matter the amount, because where much is given, much is required. So just because that one have just the one, it does not deplenish or does not devalue the one who has 5, because your one is unique in its own special way. But the thing about it is, what are you going to do with that one? Are you just going to go and bury it like he did? Or are you going to go and multiply it as the one who was given 3 and 5? You know what I mean?
And then you also got to hone into what season you're in. Every season is not harvest and planting. Sometimes the season is to just go to the store. Sometimes your season is to fall back and stop planting the watermelon and come over here and buy some flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, it takes time. Like, I've been laid back for almost a year now, and I'm enjoying it, just living. Like, because all this working and staying up till 3, 4 in the morning, being stressed and depressed. Girl, I'm so over there. I'm about to be 40. I'll be tired. Look, hopping flights and time zones. I'm not here for it, because I'm gonna miss so much of my daughter's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, while I'm out here trying to break a generational curse and do all these things, but did God tell you to do that, Tiffany?
Yeah.
I mean, you decide to do it because you was the strongest one, because you was the one that made it. Girl, bye.
But let me tell you, or you feel like you're obligated,
right?
So you have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, If God, like, first off, if we are to like go in the order of things, if we are to really truly go to God and pray about it, first and
And you got to
foremost,
be patient to listen.
to listen and to wait. But if we go to Him first, you know how much that would eliminate how many issues, how many problems, how many
Because He's
conversations.
gonna put you through some stuff to give you the answer.
He
That's
gonna put
why
you
they say
through
be
it.
mindful of what you ask for.
He gonna put you through it. But what I've noticed too, and I'm guilty of it, we don't allow Him to put us through it. We allow people in their
but you know what my grandma used to always say? The devil listen too.
Oh, child, he knows scripture. He's the same one who was
When
up there
people
playing
be coming
music.
and tell me God said, did God say that?
Did he really?
Or did the devil say that?
Which one? Which one? You know how they have the angel on this shoulder and that shoulder? It's like, which one talking in which ear? Yeah. And you have to like really truly, but again, that's accepting the hard truths.
That you listen to what you want to listen to and hear what you want to hear. That's why a lot of pastors these days are losing people out of the church, and I'm one of them. I'm very, very spiritual, very, but people pick and choose what they want to teach and preach on, and have individuals going to the church and feeling condemned and ashamed, and that's not how that's supposed to be.
No.
Like, I got so many people come to me, and I'm by far not nobody's pastor. God ain't told me that. Ain't nobody passed the wife. Ain't nobody passed the wife. But it's those type of things to know when it's time to move from the people and places that you thought were leading you, but they were hurting you. Or to know when your season is up in that place, because He know if you stay here, you're gonna miss this person over there. I need you to be here so you don't miss these sheep that I need you to lead. That's the hard truth.
Who are you speaking
Not
to?
everybody is a leader just because they got a leadership role. I don't care. I don't care what your title is on this earth, because at the end of the day, when we die, we both gonna be standing in line. I'll look at you, you're gonna look at me. I'll be like, "Oh, Joe."
Like, sis, we getting in here, huh, sis?
I'm like, I don't know. That's the hard truth, Joe. I don't know. I got
to need him to be passing us and telling us get away. Oh my God,
on Joe, and that's the hard truth. Everybody don't go to heaven. It don't matter how much you believe and read. It's a hard truth, and I've said this many times. I don't know if I'm gonna get into heaven. I do not know, because there's some things that we've all done that we done forgot about, and people are still hurting and bleeding behind.
Yeah,
but because you didn't win and saved your life and changed your life. Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Like when people die and they be like, "Oh, he with his mama." Right.
We don't know. We ain't gonna know till we get up there. That's what I'm saying. Really gonna
that's
know.
The hard truth.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't going.
Yeah.
You have to change your life. And no, church not for everybody. Religion not for everybody. Spirituality is not for everybody. I've had the honor of having atheists as my clients, and they've taught me a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all got something to give and share, but the hard truth is you got to sit down with yourself. And my clients will tell you, I don't get in the answer. Man, I got so many assignments up my sleeve. I'll be like, look, you come into therapy, you find it, and then I'm going to help you figure it out. That's how they go.
But listen here, sis. We're so thankful and grateful for salvation, because that's what gets us through the devil.
But
that's what gets
not
us
saying
through.
it in vain.
Not doing it in vain, right? But it's the only way. Only way is through salvation. So you must die to self here to get up there. Yeah. And then, like I've heard someone say it before too, is that I want to say it was, oh Lord, y'all don't blast me or nothing, but I want to say it was someone who came from like a Catholic background, and they had the saying one time, like, once saved, like always saved. And I'm like, I don't know. We may have to visit that. And one of the things that I try my best not to dive into too much is religion because people make it religion, and I'm not religion. I'm spiritual. It's about my relationship with my Father above. I know that Jesus Christ has come. He has died for my sins. And listen here, it is not for me to live a sinful life, but it's for me to live a sinless life for me, because every day we're always sinning. but the goal is for us not to
Praise
sin
God
as
all day,
much
Lord, please forgive me.
every single day, so we're all not in the perfection of, but we're all progressing. So if you're living a life of progression, you know what I mean, and
But
keeping
what you
God,
said earlier, who's your people to call you on it?
and that's it. From spiritual leaders, from your accountability, from your sisterhood, your brotherhood, your friends, co-workers,
Who you be accepting?
Right? Who we accepting? Because that's the
Will you
question.
be accepting when those people come and say, "Hey, chill, you doing too much."
Hey, we need to
So
all
that
get
y'all
into heaven
can
here.
have those conversations, because sometimes people may not understand how you moving and why you deciding to move that way.
Yeah.
And they may be pulling from something that you told them that you want to change, and from a person that you used to be. And they making that decision off of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, people may know you, but there's very few people who know you. People think because they knew you, they know you. Or people think because they were your colleague, or y'all was in the same office building, or y'all had a transaction once, they know you. That's not how that work.
Nah.
That's not how that work.
You gotta come do fellowship and community with me to know
and
me.
And if I say, if Joe was to hide about it, where would she hide it? That's the person who knows. They'd be like, you know what? Let me think.
No, Joe having brunch somewhere. Ask all of my sisters. Yes. What we doing? We gonna have brunch?
Yes, but no, I'm saying like they know you. You know what I'm saying? But then you can sit back and say, hell, sometimes I don't even know myself. So how can you sit there bold and say you know me?
That's true. That's true.
How can you say that? I know you. How do you know me? You know what I mean? At nights I didn't cry because I'm like, God, I'm confused. I don't know what to do next. I don't want to make no mistakes. I don't want to hurt nobody. That means I'm not sure of me. I'm not trusting God. So how you sit there with your big toe and say you know me? I don't know myself sometimes. You know what I show. You know what I portrayed to you for a season.
And then that's if that was your true authentic self. Because many of us out here put masks and camouflage.
And some of us not intentionally. Some of us
not
unintentionally, because that's our coping mechanism.
And then too, that's what culture has taught us. Let's just be honest with that. Culture has taught us how to say poker face and how to, camouflage our emotions and feelings, how is a certain image, that we have to maintain. It's a certain thing that we have to do. And if we can just be honest, because I know getting a little bit into it, but one of the questions that came through, I know we're not in Q&A yet, but we're going to go ahead and get this one in, is it possible for one to be able to face their truth and not become depressed about it?
That's a loaded question because it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what the hard truth is. It depends on who that person is and where they are in life. Because I might be so attached to God that hard truth may not bring me into a space of depression, but bring me to a space of reflecting more and connecting more with people and getting it out, versus someone who ain't even on that level within themselves. Yeah, it might slip. You might go into a depression. It depends. If your hard truth is you killed somebody years ago and you never said nothing, you was raped by your daddy, you never said nothing, yeah, that would make you depressed. Yeah, it depends on the hard truth. It depends on your level of sensitivity, your emotional state. And if you're depressed, if you're on medication, it's so many different variables. That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you're ready to go down that road, you better make sure you got some damn strong people that can carry you.
Oof.
I carry many weekly. I carry many weekly. I'm their person. You better make sure you got somebody that can carry you, that listens to you, that understands you, that will sit there and cry for you, that will tell you no.
Yeah.
I could care less if you get mad, because this ain't about you.
No.
So that is a loaded question.
Yeah. And you see, like, the thing about it is that to be honest, many of us, we're not teachable. You know what I mean? I remember I used to say it way back in the day, like, I'm teachable. Just teach me anything. I'm here. My yes is, but when you really get put in the position of that heart really start to surface in that inner, being of yourself start to come out, as in, man, who you think you is? You ain't about. But we go back to where I would say, oh, I remain teachable, but yet I can't hear nothing. I'm not accepting nothing that you saying. But then too, let's just kind of back it up a little bit too. When you say like, who's your people? Not only do we have to be mindful of what we come into the table with in certain situations, but two, we got to think about other people and what they're coming with as well. So can I really depend and rely on you to help me with getting through this stuff? Did you go to Jesus? Did you have a conversation? Did you do therapy?
Did you? I did. That's why I tell people I am not your therapist.
You know what you did to heal you, what you did to set you free, what you did for your delivery. Like, what did you do to help you? Because that's the only way you really truly will be able to have some type of way to even getting to me. But if you can't tell me your story and how you'll get through in your process and with your journey,
and don't be bothered. I don't be bothered by that pushback. That don't bother me. I'll be like, look, I'm not about to sit here and give you no lie. I'm not here to stroke your ego. That's what people have done in your lives, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Yeah.
But now let me tell you who you really are, and people don't want to hear that.
No,
people don't want to hear that.
They don't want to face the reality of stuff. They're too busy living in the perspective of what they want things to be and the hope of which, hey, hope is the substance of things, you know, faith is the substance of things hoped for. I get that, got that, and understanding because my faith is so strong. But at the time, you can't live on just the faith of it. You got to put some work, and sometimes that work requires you digging deep.
You got to be sitting there knowing you're in love with a married man and having faith. Look, Linda.
Let me sip my water. Then
I'm just trying to throw out some relatable things. Ooh. Yeah, and this ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And you sitting up in there and you wanting, what's the word when you want something that somebody else has? What's the word?
Can't think of the word. Nachos.
Yes. But you coveting what I have and don't know what I went through to get it.
Ooh. Sis, that's a whole nother topic, sis.
When I tell people the things that I've been through, like people still don't know half of my story as much as I've taught, as much as I've shared. And I tell people in the day, baby, if you want this PhD, this LCSW, this business knowledge, you see I got, you can have it. If that's what you desire. Because I got some things I'm willing to trade that will cost me way less.
You have some things you're willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, it means much more to me. Because now that I've gotten older, none of that matters when you're sick. You're tired. You're vulnerable. You're feeling weak. Nobody's there for you. None of that matters. That does not matter. People hit me up all the time about, oh, I'm thinking about going to get this next degree. For what? What you going to get it for? Do it have any type of return on your investment? Because Joe ain't about to give us no student loan money.
Child, listen. Joe got a husband and some kids and business, so listen. But I'll give you some cookies if you want some. I'll bring you some tea.
How about our president?
But listen, sis, what you just said is a whole mouthful. Like people, they see, like when people, I'm not going to say when they make it, but when they get to that certain point in their life to where the fruit of their labor is the evidence of and the manifestation is there, people think, oh, I'm going to want to do that. I want to do that. I want to be there. Then the comparison of things, the jealousy, the enviness, but you don't understand what that person had to go through to get where they at. You don't even know in the certain seasons of their life, like truly what they had to, child, listen, like Joe come back with the Uncomfortable podcast. We was supposed to start this thing last year before COVID, everything hit. But I'm so thankful and grateful for everything God has put me through now. Because it's like, oh, I got something to say. I got something to talk about. But unless you had went through those things and those experiences, like, you really think you'll be able to handle that? Just because you worked.
And you probably would have came back and said, you know what, that's not for me anymore. And that's okay too. People got to understand, like I had to sit down, like being a full-time therapist wasn't for me anymore. That was a hard truth because that's what I worked hard for. In my mind, that was the end goal. But that don't work for me no more. And I don't need no coach, no spiritual leader, nobody to tell me. You know why? Because I done sat with myself and I done sat with God and I feel comfortable about it. So don't tell me how you ran your business, what you do, and what kind of money I can make. I'm very clear. But again, you don't know what I've been through in these seasons and what I've lost and now what I want to focus on. It's not your business either. That's what Tabitha say. That's my business. And don't think you're going to call me after this podcast and find out either, because I will send you an invoice.
Listen, sis, people need it. They need it, sis, so let them hit you up. Listen, it's so much that we can talk about. It's so much that we can even, unpack. But I believe the one thing it is that I pray that everyone takes away from this is being able to sit, like how you said, being able to sit down with yourself, go to God, do your journaling, and being able to acknowledge those hard truths in your life. Like,
and so even if it's not God, somebody, because I was at a place in my life, Joe, I questioned God because I had so much pain going on. I had been hurt by a pastor. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's not God right now, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right because he still loves you.
Yeah. But somebody who's strong enough to help you with getting through.
Somebody. He put somebody here to help you.
Yeah, somebody.
Somebody. It might be a person random on the street. You never know.
But sis, it can't be nobody weak too. It can't be nobody in the same position you in.
You know what? And how do you find that out?
You gotta start finding your people. You gotta start.
But I'm sure somebody gonna ask you, how do you do that?
How do you do that? Well, let me just say how I did that. I know for me, I had to go to God in prayer, and I had to ask him to make clear of who I needed to surround myself with. And, we recently went through a transition, of things and where we came from. I'm so thankful and grateful for us, going through what we did and learning how to, do ministry and getting things out of the mud and, learning how to serve and so on. But when it came to that next chapter in our life, it was like, oh my God, like God had already made it clear to us, if you're going to go to the next level and you're going to start to expand, that's going to require new soil. You can't continue to plant in the same place of where you were and knowing that was okay. It was fine. So we had to go out and find, a new soil to where we were going to, start to plant our seeds and start to connect and start to do fellowship and community, and so on. And that has been a blessing to our life. But we had to accept the hard truth of we couldn't stay where we currently were. It was no shade to nobody else, but that looked like something. And it was hard. Like most people probably think doing something, like you've been committed to for so long to where it's an easy transition. It was not. But at the end of the day, we had to go with God. It was obedience we had to do. And it's going to look different for other people. But one of the things that helped us was the people around us. We had people interceding.
Don't let loyalty lead you to stupidity.
Listen, we had people talking to us. Like we were literally sharing with them what we were thinking and what we believed God had put on our heart. And he brought confirmation back to back to back.
But let me say something, Joe. And this is something that I tell people all the time. Stop talking to a bunch of people. If you want to pee Dr. Zachary, come tell me what somebody done told you. Because you won't get a word out of me. It's no way, shape, form, or fashion you can have a hard truth or anything in your life and you trying to get guidance and you going to all these different people. Because everybody got a different perspective. Everybody on a different level of wisdom, maturity, spirituality, and just themselves. So guess what? You more confused than when you left.
And the thing what it is that it doesn't have to, going to a whole bunch of people is not it. But when you go to multiple people and they give you the same revelation and the same confirmation, then you know without a shadow of doubt, that's God right there.
But look, why would you have to go to that many people if you got faith and you trust and you're confident within yourself and the people that you chose? I'm sorry that God chose for you.
Yeah, listen, I don't know how everybody else sees, but I know how Joe was. I'm like, listen, child. And it wasn't many people. It was definitely less than 5, but it was people who we we knew we can trust and that they.
But I'm sure that number has decreased.
Oh yeah, it
I'm
has.
sure. And that's what I'm saying. As you evolve, you like, you know what? And then sometimes it might be this person is for this person is for that. And these things ain't for nobody. This is just for, you know what I'm saying? You got to have people, just like we got different doctors for different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go to the orthodontist for your OBGYN issues.
Child, you leave with a cavity for real.
They doing plastic surgery. I don't know. But look, you go where people specialize.
Right.
Or where God led them to give you a word. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody appears to be a community leader or whatever doesn't mean that they're there to lead you. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody. And I always pray, God, give me the words that you want me to share with my clients. And I think that's why I PMA a lot. I think that's why, because I just come with it and I'm like, okay, what you want to hang up? What we doing? Like,
you got a problem with it? Go take it up with God here.
I'm not changing what I feel. Right. And I'm very, you know, and I talk like this on my sessions. Like I look away because I go very deep in thought. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you something about how I feel. I'm going to tell you what I know from a clinical perspective. And if you ask me, well, Dr. Zachary, what does that look like for you? I'm willing to share. A lot of leaders not willing to do that. They're not willing to do that.
Yeah, but everybody's journey and everybody's situation is different. How that's like we all be on NARC, but we all can take I-10, I-49, the back streets. You know, if you're in Lafayette, we got all kind of back streets, but that still does not mean we're not all going in the same direction. But the journey on getting there may look a little bit different. You know,
it's gonna look different.
It's different. But knowing that too, that's okay. That's when you come back to who's your people. The people on the back streets.
Know your value. Know your value. Please.
Oh yeah. I feel as if this is just my personal. Is that I honestly feel as if because people they have the high expectations of certain things and then sometimes do not reach it or becomes like, you know, overwhelming to where like they just devalue the gifts and the talents and everything it is that they have to offer because they were not able to reach, you know, that certain thing. So I've witnessed that a lot to when people fail, it's just like they feel like, who am I? Like it starts to make them question themselves. And I'm like, just because you failed, that does not mean you lose any value. You're still valuable.
You know what's important? Failing and knowing who you are. You have to know who you are. Because I've fallen and questioned who am I. I have several times. Not in the sense of failing. I'm okay with failing, but shit, what do I do now? Like I was scared to move.
Scared
to move because now I have a child.
Yeah.
It's different when you losing alone. But when you got somebody that depends on you, that's a different type of hard truth as a parent. You know what I'm saying? And so I move differently now.
And so you have to.
Yeah. And not everybody look at parenthood the same way, but my hard truth was my mom was a provider. You know what I'm saying? So hustling, doing a lot of things. I know how to do that. But my mom wasn't there for me mentally and emotionally. She couldn't give me something she didn't have. That's a hard truth. My mama go out for me, give her life for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to sit there and like be vulnerable at a young age, that didn't come. And so that's how you get these women who I don't cry. Child. Okay.
I should cry now though. Listen, child, be like, come on, sis, just bring it on. Let's just replace.
You gotta know that you got a problem with rejection. You got a problem with abandonment. You know how hard that was to have them conversations with my mama, and how hard that was to hear as a mother. That's hard truth. And no, not everybody will have that opportunity to do so, but you still gotta go through that process within yourself.
Yeah, that's part of your healing journey.
Mommy and daddy issues are real.
Some people got mama issues. And daddy.
I got grandma issues.
Listen, and aunties and uncles and cousins. Like there's still issues inside of the household. But you know what? Listen, that is why I love, and that's what form uncomfortable is, because as a young child, You know, we've seen so many things and we were taught, hey, what happened in these four walls, stay in these four walls. So you learn at a young age how to just sweep things underneath the rug. But in all actuality, the dust's still there.
But and not even a dust, not is a corpse. Not like, even that.
You still got to move it. You still got to clean it. You still have to address it.
You got to talk to that person at that age and time.
Because if not, it's just going to subside and just fester into all kind of stuff.
It could, or it could get to a point in life where you say, well, what if I don't have no hard truths? Because you done blocked it out. I've been, unfortunately and fortunately, the person to be the first person to hear a lot of trauma that has never been spoken before. You know what I'm saying? Some shit I can't do nothing with for the rest of my life. And that's hard when you sit and you pull it out of people who thought that they didn't have anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, boom, now I got this. What do we do with this? And here I go. Now what now? Because I can't, and not to be funny, but I be like so blown that people have experienced so much trauma and people are so hateful to children. And this is why you have adults that don't know how to connect mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
That don't believe in mental health. That don't believe in medicine. And you wonder why we have people who are schizophrenic and depressed and anxious doing all these crimes. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have nothing to do with race. It starts at home.
Yeah.
We are all human beings at the end of the day. And it starts at home.
Yeah.
Black, white, green, red, yellow, purple, it don't matter. Yeah, we do have an unjust justice system. But at the end of the day, it starts at home. And we took out, just like we separated church from state. We can do that in many other areas just to be human beings. But we feel more when we have titles.
Who child? Listen, don't give me no title.
Y'all can have y'all title. I'm just trying to get in. I'm just trying to get in.
We just not trying to see the gate. We want to go past the gate, sis. Listen.
Like, and leave your look. I left the credentials down there.
Yeah. It ain't. Listen, God ain't. Listen. God not impressed with that. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like hey, good job, good work. Now what you gonna do for me? You know what I mean? I don't
you to have it to do for somebody else.
Yeah, because I tell this to my husband and my kids all the time. Your life ain't even for you.
It's not for you.
It's for somebody else. Your story ain't for you. It's for somebody else. The situation, even in the middle school stuff, it ain't for you, boo. So just go through it, feel, pray, journal, do what you got to do. Because I promise you, somebody is going to connect with you who you will be able to share your experience.
But take your time. Take your time.
Listen, don't be taking on people's stuff here.
Take your time. Because many people have literally shed blood. That's their hard truth.
Yeah.
Take your time.
And know that it's okay. Know that it's okay.
We all messed up. Nobody want to admit it.
Now, listen.
Everybody got something going on.
Listen, we like them Powerpuff Girls. All of us got some issues.
Because if we didn't, we wouldn't need a higher being. We wouldn't need higher power. Life would be boring.
I believe so. I think it would be.
If I had somebody to help, life would be boring for me because I feel like that's my calling.
That's why we all have different purposes. That's why we all here with different gifts and different talents.
If you went to law school, but it's in your heart to bake cakes, go bake a cake.
Listen,
so I can come get that cake.
Go on a little Netflix show called Nailed It, and just put them people to shame.
But this is not working for me no more, girl. Go live your life. If you want to be a nomad, do what you want to do, sis. Go. But I work for this. So what? You want a cookie?
Yeah.
That's the hard truth. Nobody cares. It means something to you, not to me.
Yeah.
You want dealing with that, crying and frustrated.
And let's just put this too, because I know we say 45 minutes while we to an hour. Let's just say this too is one of the hard truths too is a lot of people, if you're one of those individuals to where you feel as if you have to live a life to please your family, you ain't gotta do that.
Cut this off, Joe.
Do what you gotta do.
Cut this off, Joe.
Because listen, it's like, oh no, well, what my mama.
No, I got clients in the morning.
What my daddy go say, and this is no, boo. You ain't.
I went through that. That's real. I went through that.
It really is real.
But you know what? I did the opposite. And I'm glad I did, because my daddy not even living no more. Now just imagine if I would have did what daddy thought I should have done, because daddy didn't know what the world was going to be in 2022. My daddy going to be dead 8 years. He didn't know that I was going to have to be packing a gun when I got to go get my child from the school. You know what I'm saying? I got to have a different mindset. My daddy didn't know a man was going to try to kill me. So now when I tell you, back up, because Tiffany done went through some stuff. Like, some people just don't be talking. Like, you got to know people done been through some things.
Don't run up behind me. You don't know. You don't know, child.
Now, if your mom and dad are telling you things, they coming from a good place, but sometimes you got to do what's best for you, because they don't have to live those consequences. You do. You got to pay them student loans back.
Yeah.
And you sitting there up unhappy because of what people going to say. God, nobody care. I don't care.
At least not your circle care. At least not your people care. Like, you
and if everybody got so much to say, tell everybody to tap in and pay for it.
Come help me here. But listen, sis, before we leave, that's another thing. Like, I feel like it's a level of pride that people have. Like, if you struggling, you going through whatever, like, that's why you need your circle of people. Because, like, if you listen, you on the side of the road, ran out of gas, but you got so much pride, you ain't about to call nobody, bring you whatever. Like, no, that's pride. I'm calling everybody. Come get me. Like,
and you know what? I got people that love me so much that check up on me.
Yeah.
They be like, you good? And I check up on them just to say I love you. And I get a message that say I needed that. That's all.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I never knew how to do that, but I'm so thankful that I do it now, because I see how it's reciprocated. I do it to my people, and I see how they do it back to me. Like, I got, my sis texted me earlier, Joe, today's the day. What you need, sis? But just the other day, I'm like, I know you starting school. What you need? Gas money, lunch, whatever. But that was so uncomfortable for me to do that before, because I felt as if, why should I got to be the person for you. You can't be that person for me. But I'm so happy I don't have that mindset.
Everybody be there for me.
No more. I'm like, bro, we struggling out here. Listen, we want to see the glory.
And that's the thing. Like, even with you, you're married. I'm a single mom, but that doesn't mean you don't need help.
Right.
That doesn't mean you need the same levels of help that I need, because I'm a single mom.
Charlie.
And look, I let all my people love on me and London, because I'm like, because some days I just don't have it.
And we be needing it. Like, we need it. We truly need it. And that's coming from once being a single mother to now being married. Because I was once that single mother, and I never had what I have right now, but I wish I did. I really wish I did. But I'm so thankful and grateful. So look, sis, this was good.
Congratulations and good luck on the rest of your shows.
All right, sis, we're bringing you back, though. You don't know it yet.
Look, y'all. Look.
We is bringing it back. So listen, this is the way on how you can contact Dr. Tiffany, with accepting your hard truths, or even if you just need a little chit chat, whatever the case may be. And sis, let me, if it's okay for me to share with this, is that don't you offer like a free 15-minute or 30-minute consultation?
Yeah, so the free 15-minute consult work both ways. It's for you to see if I'm for you, and vice versa. Because like I said earlier, every client is not my client. I do not take on clients where I know I'm not an expert in their area, or an area that I'm uncomfortable with working in. And that's a lot to do with just me being a human being. We all have things that we haven't truly healed from. And so, for instance, addiction is one for me. That's a trigger. My brother was murdered by his addiction. So I'm good at it. Like the back of my hand, saved many lives, but that's just something that I don't go there with. So anybody who's looking for therapy, make sure you interview your therapist. And if they not interviewing you,
red flag.
Look, our money ain't good money. I tell people all the time, baby, I don't need your money. Because look, that's a long hour, and I don't want to be, we both need to feel purposeful with that session.
Yeah. So listen, if you would like to reach out to Dr. Tiffany, information.
I don't work with children. Don't y'all look. I don't work with children, and I don't work with teenagers anymore.
21 and older. 21 and older. Or 25, sis, for the insurance.
Nah, she's older than that. But let me tell you, it ain't the children, it's usually the parents. And that's a trigger for me. But I do have colleagues who are trained, because there are interventions and models that you need in family therapy, and I'm not trained in that. Yeah. So if you need me to direct you, I'm more than happy.
Hey, that's the truth of. Listen, this is why I love this podcast, because you come with, we bring everything to the table, regardless if you're a believer, a non-believer. We cover all the bases. We talk about the hard stuff, and to know that conversation looks different across the board, but at the same time, it has the, where it can still relate and resonate with somebody who's listening, because not all listeners, are the same. They don't all hear the same. Some people may take just one word. Some people may take.
What's a hard truth? Some people don't care nothing about your podcast. They just don't hear the things you're doing.
And look, that's still good, because you still count my views.
But I'm just saying, that's a hard truth.
It is a hard truth.
Crazy.
Listen, but I accept it. When we did it 4 years ago, I accepted it.
Even but no, I said that to you to resonate with somebody, that everybody that's watching don't have the right motive.
They don't. Be mindful. But listen, sis, they may just screenshot that number anyways and give you a call, though.
May God bless them.
But listen here, thank you so much. Sis, I appreciate you. I love you so much. And listen, I am so excited to have you here.
Yo, I'm telling you, I'm gonna call your phone, Joe. Good night, Facebook world, YouTube, and every other platform we on. Because
I am here for it. I am here for it, sis. So thank you. Appreciate you, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, that was a great and amazing conversation with Dr. Tiffany. Listen, I'm going to leave the information here for anyone who maybe just jumped on to where you would like to contact her. Listen, I told y'all it was going to be a little, rough, digging deep into some stuff, but I really truly believe that this conversation can be the seed or be the very thing for many of you who may be listening out there, of just being able to acknowledge any hard truths that you maybe have not come into acceptance with just yet. And just also to understand and to know that you got to find your people. Find your people. Listen, go to God in prayer, journal, or if you are not a believer and you just want to go to the certain people that you may have like a certain type of trust go to them. Don't be afraid. Don't be prideful, because your healing depends on it. Your deliverance depends on it. You just being set free in your mind depends on it. And we can't do life by ourselves. You need a community. You need people who are going to hold you accountable, people who are going to be able to speak life into you, people who are going to be able to uplift you, and people who could be able to just literally call you out on your stuff. But too, if you have a hard time doing that, then hey, that may be one of the hard truths that you may have to come into terms with accepting, right? Yeah. So listen, until next time, it was good. I'll relaunch. Yeah, it was good. Y'all already know I'm silly, right? Yeah. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. Listen, God, we just thank you, Lord God, for this time. We thank you for everything it is that you're doing, Lord God, in my life and in the lives of all of the listeners and everyone it is who is tuning in, Lord God. We just thank you, Lord God, for you just continue to have your hand on things, Lord God, and wherever you see fit for us moving forward with this podcast, Lord God, that your hand be on it in any way, shape, or form. We give you all the glory, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Listen, you all go off, come back, revisit it. Maybe you probably missed something that you probably didn't hear, or maybe something that didn't resonate with you. whatever the case may be, please feel free to hit me up on Facebook, YouTube, or email me. Let me go ahead and put that here. Make sure too, if you haven't already, like, share, and follow. We are going to be coming back next week. Listen, I got a special treat for y'all, but you're going to have to wait until we put the flyer out there, okay? But listen, this is where we get raw, authentic, and uncut, and we come with it all because this is a place for any and everybody. So until next time, you all go have a blessed, amazing, and productive week until we meet again, okay? Bye.